Why should you choose Jaswell?
Welcome everybody, little mistake there. Happy Tuesday, hope you're having a great day so far. The stock market officially closed for the day, so this is our sort of closing beat, our market wrap where we go over everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll talk about anything that may be in the headlines, things that may be going on for the day, and just kind of cover anything you need help with. We can't make specific recommendations, but of course, welcome to help with anything that you're taking a look at or that may be getting you excited, scaring you, whatever. Okay, tonight, by the way, if you're one of our customers, take a look down here. We're doing Wine and Wealth tonight on understanding speed and volatility. We're going to talk about our portfolios, the speed, how that all works, volatility of the portfolios, how that all works in kind of preparation for if the markets do pull back, you'll know exactly what to do and you'll know exactly how our portfolios work. Take a look at our Doe show earlier today where we talked about what you're going to do when the markets pull back. How are you going to handle that? How are you going to respond? We talked about it. We gave you some tips there. And of course, it's all good. Well, hey, let's take a look at the stock market today. You got the Dow was higher by 112, mostly positive day. It was up about 155 at the highs. The S&P 500 added 18 by the close, and the Nasdaq closed higher 51. All the deal from Turkey, all that mess that carried over from Friday into this week, Friday of last week, seems to be calming down. They got some currency games they're playing over there. The Turkish central government, Central Reserve is going to be taking on some new iffy policies to try to stabilize things over there. I have a sneaking suspicion that is not the last that we will hear about that. We wouldn't probably hear much about it at all if it was still earnings season or if there were more things going on in the market. It's a pretty quiet market, so we'll take a small update. The Dow basically erased all of yesterday's losses, so headed back on track there. But let's take a look at the charts and go over so you can see what's going on. Remember our comments yesterday about the Dow, this sort of breathing in and out? I would expect that to continue, and we said if it goes sideways from here over the next few weeks, totally normal. Of course, you'd prefer that it just heads back towards the highs, but for now, this back and forth, it's totally to be expected, very calm overall. So the S&P 500 also continuing its uptrend, recovering, like we said, most of what happened yesterday, just about all of it actually, and still within about 1.25% from hitting those highs back here. So still some work to do. It is summertime. I would expect that it kind of goes slow and steady. There's really not much in the way of news to help them out at the moment. And the Nasdaq, of course, very close to the highs. One of your better performing sectors on the day, but also on the year so far. The Russell, I believe, is still the best performer. It also had the best day today. So there's a hint. If you're one of those, hey, I'm just going to buy index funds for the cheapest possible alternative, what index? Did you buy the S&P? You're a little behind if you bought the S&P, right? So keep that in mind. I, of course, not giving any specific recommendations, but I'm saying when you say index fund, what index in particular are you looking at? Okay, let's move on here. So the banking stocks higher by about 1% today. Remember, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they all have exposure naturally to what's going on over there. And of course, the trading desks in Europe and China. And so JP Morgan added only about 0.5% there. It was higher on the day. Goldman Sachs just over 1%, closing near the highs. Also some other news out of that with them helping Tesla. Let's go to Tesla real quick. Tesla shares down about 2.5%. Basically, the guy tweeted something he shouldn't have tweeted, and now he's like, well, I didn't mean that. I meant something else, right? What you didn't understand the spirit of the tweet that I was saying. He's trying to dig himself out of trouble. I think he'll be just fine, but stock down about 2.5% today. They say that they're working with a couple companies and Goldman Sachs as well to help them explore the option of going private. Can you imagine that? This complicated transaction, guy tweets it out, and all of a sudden the board, all these advisors, all these bankers, they're like, holy cow, we got to put this together. We need to give answers to Wall Street. I can imagine some sleepless nights going on over there. So that's that one. In the tech space, that was decent today. It ended up finishing a little bit lower. The semiconductors were lower on the day, and tech in general stayed pretty much near the highs. Your best performing sector of the day was consumer discretionary stocks. Let me give you a little space there so you can see. Consumer discretionary stocks staying near their highs. You also have financials, of course, recovering from what happened there over the last few days. Here's the Turkey news right here, right? So you got Thursday, Friday, Monday, and now Tuesday recovering a little bit if you happen to be paying attention to that. Materials just chopping around. Look, when you see materials on the news as one of the better performing sectors of the day, What does that tell you? It just tells you it had one good day. It's been trading back and forth, chopping in a range, not much to say. Here's the thing, if I go through more and more of the S&P 500 sectors, all of them were positive today. So although not like amazing, stellar, like rip your face off, great rally type of a day, all of the S&P 500 sectors were positive on the day. Let's go over to some earnings, what's left of it anyways. You got 455 of the 500 companies have reported earnings in the S&P 500, and almost 80% of them have reported better than expected, so doing pretty good. Home Depot was one that absolutely crushed it, did great. Everything mostly across the entire board was good. They reported earnings. They were strong. They had sales. They were strong. They actually cited uptick in demand for the seasonal products as one of the driving factors. Remember, they got off to a slow start at the beginning of the summer because of the bad weather. So Home Depot, not too bad. It was down a little bit on the day. Advanced Auto Parts hitting new highs. You guys know this company, right? Advanced Auto Parts is, you go in there and you buy like brakes and widgets and things for your car or truck. You see how much I shop there? I buy the flat tire in a can. I can't go anywhere without the flat tire in a can. That is the greatest creation on the planet. Get a flat tire, don't want to change it, don't have time, want to get off the side of the road, fill it up with some stuff there. Anyways, you can buy that at Advanced Auto Parts. They reported earnings much better than expected. Overall profits beat expectations, and the company announced, guess what? A share buyback program. So yet another company that's going to start buying back their shares. Earnings per share will now be suspect going forward. We're going to have a lot to talk about next earnings season. Let's take a look real quick because Advanced Auto Parts was your second best performer in the S&P. Tapestry was your first best performer. This is, what is it? Coach. I can't think of the other names. This is Coach and some other brands of fancy clothing. It's a retailer. So doing really good there. And now, as I go through the S&P 500, your best performers, where was all the success today? Retailers. You got Gap higher by 5%. Limited brands, that's Victoria's Secret. They haven't been able to catch a break lately. They were up 5% on the day. Macy's had some good news about the valuation of their company. They were also up on the day. Nordstrom, breaking out to new highs there. AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts and AutoZone, their competitors. Speaking of which, O'Reilly also in that same space, hitting new highs. Really good day for them. Under Armour, Kohl's, Walgreens, Boots Alliance, the other Under Armour. What do we got here? CVS, Michael Kors, Dollar General. I could go on and on. All your retailers near the top of the list as some of the better performers on the day. Let's go over a couple other things that normally we probably wouldn't talk about, but they're sort of interesting since it's quiet. Yum China. So you got Yum Brands, you got Yum China. A while ago, they decided to take Yum Brands, which is like Pizza Hut. What else do they do? KFC, they're popular for. Anyways, so they took those brands in the U.S. They said, let's keep those separate. All of those brands that are in China, let's make them two separately traded companies. And so if you go to Yum Brands on the chart there, that's the U.S.-based products. Yum China, that is everything that's based overseas. Well, this was up 4% today because there's some people in China, as well as some of our local private equity companies that are local, U.S.-based private equity companies that are looking to take the company, or looking to buy the company, right? So they're exploring their options there, getting some money. They're going to start a separate fund and then allow sort of these extra companies to invest in that fund. It'll just disappear if that's what happens. It won't be a public company anymore. Lockheed Martin, pretty interesting story there. The stock was up 1.5% on the day. These guys build rockets and weapons and stuff. They got a hypersonic government weapons contract. Really cool. You take a look at what they're trying to build there. That is pretty neat. On the downside, well, not a whole lot. You got Wynn Resorts. Wynn Resorts continuing to sell off. It's resolution, right? We talk about this all the time. Investors want resolution. Give them something to bet on. If you give somebody something to bet on, they will hop on board, they'll do it. Tesla, giving you nothing to bet on at the moment. You kind of have to sit back and go, I don't know what's going to happen. That's too much risk to take for me to buy that stock. Wynn Resorts, I don't know what's going on there. Between Macau and what's going on internally with the board, that's so tough to try to decide what's going on. And so the stock just slides lower. Investors are like, we'll back off. We'll hold off until you're ready to give us something to work with. Mattel, just chopping around, nothing big there. Newmont Mining. This is a gold mining company. Now, the price of gold, remember, that's been sliding lower. It's hovering right at $1,200 an ounce. Here we go. Right down here. So we talked about that a long time ago. Gold falling to $1,200. Looks like it wants to fall a little bit more. Because of that, companies that mine for gold There we go. Like Newmont Mining, they're suffering as well. Is that a discount? I want you to pretend something real quick. Look at this chart. If this were the stock market right now, and it was falling nice and slow, you're like, okay, I can handle that, no problem. Ooh, a couple scary days there. Well, yay, we recovered. Okay, I'm not so scared. Then some more scary days and this bounce back and forth. Probably you don't do anything. When it falls off the edge of a cliff and looks like a waterfall, what do? Most people, and clearly by the way this looks, everybody is running for the hills. They're selling this stock. How many times have we mentioned that this is the time you buy right here? When it's just trending lower slowly, no big deal. Very hard to pick a bottom. Never try to play that game. I've played it for years. It doesn't work. But when it falls off of a cliff, is there some sort of accelerated panic where people are getting washed out? Everybody that's scared or had enough or just doesn't want to invest in this company, they're all running for the hills. So daily, think about this. You've got Tesla is a great example. You've got buyers and sellers, and they're playing this little tug of war, right? They're going back and forth and back and forth. Someone's going to be right eventually. It'll be fine. Now, on this stock Newmont, you've got sellers and buyers, right? The sellers can't sell forever. There's only so many shares you can sell. And so if the majority of them are winning the tug of war battle, they're going to exhaust themselves. If you're pulling a tug of war rope and all your guys are giving everything they've got and you're winning, and the other team's just standing there like this going, go ahead, tire yourself out. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Eventually you get tired and they yank the thing back from you, you lose. That's what the sellers are doing here in Newmont Mining. I am not recommending that you buy this stock, of course, that's not my job. But when I see something like that, I want you to pretend it's the stock market. When that happens in the stock market, wouldn't you get excited that you're getting a discount? I would. I don't know. It's just me. Okay, let's talk about this. You got Sears. Really? Sears about 10% higher after hours here. Some headlines that have come out. I haven't really seen anything just yet. Nope. Crude oil continues to roll over. That's weak. Tomorrow we'll get the crude oil numbers. Expect more volatility there. Yoga, if you follow that, it's down 20%. Ouch. Casa Brands down 23%. Ouch. Lots of little things. Yeah, lots of little things going on there. Not too much after hours here. What else do I want to point out? That's about it, actually. Volatility creeping. Oop, there we go. Volatility retreating, I should say, back down to the lows there with just a small update. If you like following volatility, a little bit of fear sort of dissipating over the last few days. That's what that shows there on that chart. The fear sort of reducing, going back down to nothing. Or not nothing, but close to nothing. And that's about it. And if you're one of our customers, remember tonight we're going to go over speed and volatility. Going to be a good class. Get your geeky glasses on. Have a glass of wine with me. We are going to go over what all that means. Remember, we here at Jazz Wealth do not pick stocks. We have a portfolio that we build to move at a certain speed. When individual stocks or positions in there don't perform, we'll take a look, but as long as it hasn't messed with our speed, we don't really care what the individual positions do. We want to make sure that the whole portfolio can produce the speed that we want to. Well, I say that a lot. What on earth does that mean? When I say move faster than the market or move much slower than the market, what are we talking about? Tonight, on the whiteboard here, we're going to draw it out. Short class, about the time it takes to share a glass of wine with you, of course. We will knock that thing out and you'll understand so much more about our portfolios. If you're not one of our customers, take a look at our portfolios. We're the only financial advisor that posts our performance. How do we do? The good, the bad, and the ugly. What is out there if you invest with us and you join us with your retirement accounts or whatever? What does that mean? What are you investing in, right? We don't pick mutual funds that cost you money. We invest the money and we have our own portfolios. And because of that, although it took a lot of friggin' work to get it approved, we're able to share that with you so you can see where have we been? What are we doing? Are we any good? When we say we're going to move a certain speed, do we? How does it all work? Okay, well, that's all I have for you. We'll be back, of course, 8 o'clock tonight. If you're one of our customers, you got the email. Click on that link to join us live. Otherwise, click on it whenever you like. It'll be there for you as a replay whenever you have a free moment. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Busy over here, so we'll talk to you soon. Cato, unfortunately, we can only work with U.S. residents or what they call resident aliens. Those are over here working in the U.S. Steve says, loved your video on what to do when stock market crashes, but do you sell some of your winners to raise more cash when you're in your 30s, right? now. No, 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 because think about that, Steve. If you're saying the stock market's reached a high, who's to say you're right? Last year, right? Last year I had I don't even know how many customers say, the market's been up for 8 years. I'm going to sell my positions and wait for cash. And I said, don't do it. You can't do it. They missed out on 20%, right? Or whatever they, however they were participating. So now they need the stock market to fall 20+% in order to make that whole year of waiting worthwhile. I hate playing that game. It's just so hard, man. I hate playing that game. So I advise against it, but you're gonna do what you want to do. All right, guys, enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.